20 beautiful black female celebrities who had the most tragic deaths. Behind the glittering awards and chart-topping anthems lies a graveyard of shattered dreams and silent screams. We celebrate their voices, but do we truly hear their pain? From the tragic hotel room silence of Whitney Houston to the sudden heartbreaking exit of Simone Battle, the legends of Black excellence often pay for their immortality with their lives. At Black Excellence Legends, we go beyond the spotlight to uncover the raw, unfiltered truth of the icons who gave us everything until they had nothing left. Watch until the end to witness the hidden costs of greatness. If you believe these stories deserve to be told with dignity, hit that subscribe button and join the legend. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday, born Eleanor Fagan, remains the definitive voice of jazz and blues, possessing an innate ability to manipulate phrasing and tempo that transformed the American songbook. Her vocal style, deeply influenced by instrumentalists, pioneered a new way of manipulating phrasing and tempo, making her one of the most significant singers in history. However, her immense professional triumphs were perpetually shadowed by a life of systemic trauma, legal persecution, and debilitating health crises. Her narrative is not merely one of talent, but of survival against an era that sought to silence her most potent messages. Holiday's masterpiece, Strange Fruit, a chilling indictment of lynching in the American South, became her musical cry for justice. This song turned her into a target for the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, led by Harry Anslinger. The government's relentless pursuit of Holiday was fueled as much by racial animosity as it was by her struggles with narcotics. Her 1947 conviction and subsequent imprisonment stripped her of her New York City cabaret card, effectively banning her from performing in the very clubs that fueled her livelihood. This state-sanctioned harassment exacerbated her emotional fragility and deepened her reliance on substances to cope with the isolation. By the late 1950s, the physical toll of her lifestyle became undeniable. In May 1959, she was admitted to Metropolitan Hospital in New York, suffering from progressive liver cirrhosis and cardiovascular complications. In a final act of cruelty, federal agents arrested her on her deathbed for narcotics possession, stationing guards at her door, and even removing her record player and flowers. She passed away on July 17, 1959, at the age of 44, with only 70 cents in her bank account. Her death was a direct consequence of a broken system and a body worn thin by the weight of her own genius and the world's cruelty. Erica Ashe. Erica Ashe was a multifaceted powerhouse of talent whose infectious energy and comedic precision left an indelible mark on Hollywood. Originally pursuing a path in medicine, her trajectory shifted toward the performing arts, while living in Japan, leading her to a diverse career spanning Broadway sketch comedy and prestige television. She first captured mainstream attention as a standout performer on Mad TV and The Big Gay Sketch Show, where her sharp wit and chameleonic ability to inhabit characters earned her widespread acclaim. Her crowning achievement, however, came with her portrayal of Mary Charles M. Chuck Calloway in the hit series Survivor's Remorse, a role that showcased her rare gift for blending biting sarcasm with profound emotional vulnerability. Beyond her scripted successes, Ashe was a formidable presence in the film industry, appearing in projects like Scary Movie 5 and Uncle Drew. She possessed a unique artistic frequency that allowed her to navigate between slapstick humor and grounded drama with seamless ease. Her peers frequently described her as a light in the room, a woman whose professional dedication was matched only by her personal warmth and advocacy for representation within the entertainment landscape. Despite the demanding nature of her industry, she remained a steadfast figure of positivity, using her platform to uplift aspiring Black creators and champion authentic storytelling. Tragically, the entertainment world was dimmed when news broke of her private but courageous battle with illness. On July 28, 2024, Erica Ashe passed away at the age of 46 following a prolonged struggle with breast cancer. She chose to face her diagnosis with the same quiet strength and dignity that defined her life, shielding the public from her pain while continuing to inspire those in her inner circle. Her untimely departure serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of health advocacy and early detection. Erica didn't just play roles, she commanded them, leaving behind a legacy of laughter that continues to resonate long after her final curtain call. Aaliyah. Aaliyah Dana Houghton, celebrated globally as the Princess of R&B, was a visionary artist who redefined the sonic landscape of the late 90s and early 2000s. Her ethereal vocals, combined with a sleek, futuristic aesthetic, bridged the gap between classic soul and cutting-edge hip-hop. Emerging as a protege of Timbaland and Missy Elliott, she introduced a staccato minimalist style that became the blueprint for contemporary urban music. Beyond the recording studio, her transition into Hollywood was equally meteoric, with starring roles in Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned, signaling the birth of a genuine multimedia icon. She was not merely a pop star, she was a cultural phenomenon whose influence on fashion and femininity resonated with an entire generation. The zenith of her career, however, was tragically cut short by a series of catastrophic technical and human failures. On August 25, 2001, after filming the music video for her single Rock the Boat in the Abaco Islands of the Bahamas, Aaliyah and 8 members of her entourage boarded a twin-engine Cessna 402. The aircraft was destined for Opa-locka, Florida, but it never reached its cruising altitude. Shortly after takeoff, the plane plummeted and crashed just 200 feet from the end of the runway. The impact was devastating, claiming the lives of all 9 souls on board. Aaliyah was only 22 years old in age, where most artists are just beginning to find their footing. The aftermath of the tragedy revealed a grim reality of negligence. Investigation reports from the NTSB and FAA confirmed that the aircraft was significantly overloaded, exceeding its maximum takeoff weight by several hundred pounds. Furthermore, the pilot Luis Morales III was found to have traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system, and he had reportedly falsified FAA records to obtain his commercial pilot license. The loss of Aaliyah sent shockwaves through the global music community, leaving behind a void that has never truly been filled. She remains a symbol of what could have been, an angel of R&B whose legacy is preserved in the timeless, smooth melodies that continue to inspire artists 2 decades later. Natalie Cole. Natalie Cole was much more than the daughter of the legendary Nat King Cole. She was a virtuoso who carved her own path through the landscapes of soul, R&B, and chase. Her 1975 debut single, This Will Be an Everlasting Love, instantly established her as a vocal powerhouse, earning her the Grammy for Best New Artist event. However, her most iconic moment arrived in 1991 with the album Unforgettable, with Love, where she utilized technological innovation to duet with her late father. This masterpiece swept the Grammy Awards, selling over 7 million copies and proving that her artistry could transcend generations. Despite her polished exterior and sophisticated sound, Cole's life was an arduous battle against the shadows of her past and a grueling series of health complications. For years, Cole was remarkably candid about her history with substance abuse, a struggle that reached such depths during the 1980s that she faced near-fatal consequences. Although she achieved long-term sobriety, in 1983, the physiological toll of those years eventually manifested in her later life. In 2008, she was diagnosed with hepatitis C, a direct remnant of her past addiction, and subsequently suffered from kidney failure. Displaying incredible fortitude, she continued to tour and perform even while undergoing dialysis 3 times a week. In 2009, she received a life-saving kidney transplant, but the surgery led to further complications, including pulmonary arterial hypertension, a rare and incurable condition that causes the heart to work overtime. The final chapter of her life was marked by a quiet, dignified struggle as her health began to decline rapidly in late 2015. On December 31st, 2015, the world lost a transcendent talent when Natalie Cole passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 65. The official cause was heart failure brought on by her lung disease. Her family described her as a fierce survivor, a woman who faced the demons of addiction and the frailties of the human body with unmatched grace. Her death signaled the end of a golden era of vocal elegance, leaving behind a legacy of music that remains as unforgettable as the name of her most famous tribute. Simone Battle. Simone Battle was a rising star whose vibrant charisma and undeniable vocal talent promised a dazzling future in the pop music landscape. A Los Angeles native, she first stepped into the intense glow of the national spotlight as a contestant on the inaugural season of the X Factor US in 2011. Her eclectic style and infectious energy immediately captivated mentor Simon Cowell and audiences alike, marking her as a finalist with immense potential. Shortly after her television debut, she became a foundational member of GRL, a powerhouse girl group formed by Pussycat Dolls creator Robin Anton. With the global success of their smash hit Ugly Heart, Simone was on the cusp of international superstardom, symbolizing the modern empowered young woman in the music industry. However, behind the polished music videos and high-energy performances lay a private battle with profound emotional distress. Simone was navigating the immense pressures of a burgeoning career while silently struggling with financial concerns and severe depression. The disconnect between her public persona defined by confidence and joy and her internal reality underscored the often overlooked mental health crisis within the entertainment world. Her story serves as a poignant reminder that success, fame, and beauty do not provide immunity against the weight of psychological struggle. Despite the support of her bandmates and a growing fan base, the darkness she faced became overwhelming, leading to a conclusion that shocked the industry to its core. On September 5, 2014, the world was devastated to learn that Simone Battle had passed away at the young age of 25. She was found in her West Hollywood home, and the coroner later ruled her death a suicide by hanging. There was no suicide note, leaving those who loved her with a haunting silence and endless questions. Her passing sparked a global conversation about the importance of mental health awareness, particularly for young artists under the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. Her GRL bandmates honored her memory through the tribute single Lighthouse, ensuring that her legacy would be defined not just by her tragic exit, but by the radiant light she brought to the stage during her brief, brilliant life. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, universally revered as the Voice, was a once-in-a-century talent whose staggering vocal range and regal presence redefined the boundaries of pop and R&B. From her 1985 self-titled debut to the record-breaking success of the Bodyguard soundtrack, she amassed a staggering 200 million records sold worldwide and became the only artist to chart 7 consecutive #1 Billboard Hot 100 hits. Her rendition of I Will Always Love You remains the gold standard of vocal technicality and emotional resonance. Yet beneath the veneer of her unparalleled success lay a complex, decades-long battle with substance abuse and a tumultuous personal life that eventually eroded her health and dimmed the brilliance of her gift. As the new millennium progressed, the world watched with heavy hearts as Whitney's voice, once a pristine instrument of power, began to show the strain of her internal struggles. Despite numerous attempts at rehabilitation and a highly anticipated comeback in 2009 with I Look to You, the pressures of her legendary status and persistent dependencies proved to be a formidable adversary. By 2012, Houston was in Los Angeles for the Grammy Awards, a weekend that was supposed to be a celebration of the industry she helped build. However, the atmosphere of glamour was shattered by a tragedy that would freeze the world in a state of collective grief. On February 11, 2012, at the age of 48, Whitney Houston was found unresponsive in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. The coroner's report later confirmed the cause of death as accidental drowning, with atherosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use listed as contributing factors. The news broke just hours before the annual pre-Grammy Gala, turning a night of celebration into a somber vigil. Her passing was not just the loss of a singer, but the silencing of a cultural icon who paved the way for every Black female artist who followed. Whitney's legacy is a poignant mosaic of monumental triumph and human frailty, but ultimately it is her voice, soaring majestic and free, that continues to echo through the halls of music history. Florence Griffith Joyner, FloJo. Florence Griffith Joyner, universally known as FloJo, remains the fastest woman to ever grace the track, an extraordinary athlete whose 1988 world records in the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints still stand unbeaten decades later. Beyond her breathtaking velocity, she was a revolutionary icon of style, blending high-fashion aesthetics with elite athleticism. Her signature long, intricately decorated fingernails and daring one-legged tracksuits challenged the traditional image of a female athlete, proving that power and femininity could coexist beautifully. In the 1988 Seoul Olympics, she captured 3 gold medals, cementing her status as a global superstar and a source of immense pride for the Black community. She wasn't just running against competitors, she was running against the very limits of human capability. After retiring at the peak of her fame in 1989, FloJo focused on fashion design, acting, and community service, serving as the co-chair of the President's Council on Physical Fitness. However, her meteoric rise was often unfairly clouded by unsubstantiated rumors of performance-enhancing drug use, allegations she vehemently denied, and which were never supported by a single failed drug test. She lived her post-athletic life with the same grace and vibrancy she displayed on the track, remaining a dedicated mother and a symbol of excellence. Despite her apparent physical perfection, she harbored a hidden health vulnerability that would eventually lead to a heart-wrenching conclusion for the sports world. The world was paralyzed with shock when news broke on September 21, 1998, that the fastest woman on Earth had passed away at the age of 38. Flojo died unexpectedly in her sleep at her home in Mission Viejo, California. An autopsy later revealed that the cause of death was suffocation during a severe grand mal seizure caused by a congenital brain abnormality known as cavernous angioma. The discovery of this underlying condition finally provided a tragic medical explanation for her sudden passing and silenced the skeptics who had questioned her integrity. Flojo's legacy is one of unparalleled speed and indomitable spirit. She remains a soaring inspiration for every girl who dreams of running toward greatness, leaving a trail of neon and gold in her wake. Michelle Thomas. Michelle Thomas was a captivating actress whose charm and comedic timing made her a household staple during the golden era of 90s sitcoms. With a legacy rooted in artistic excellence, her father was a member of Kool and the Gang, and her mother a theater professional. Michelle seemed destined for the spotlight. She first charmed audiences as Justine Phillips, the girlfriend of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, but it was her role as the spirited, obsessively devoted Myra Monkhouse on Family Matters that etched her into television history. Michelle possessed a rare effervescent quality. She could turn a scene into a comedic highlight with just a flash of her brilliant smile or a witty comeback, becoming a fan favorite in a cast of legendary characters. As her career flourished, Michelle sought to expand her repertoire, joining the cast of the long-running soap opera The Young and the Restless as Callie Rogers. However, beneath her vibrant on-screen persona, she was facing a devastating health crisis that she chose to keep largely private. In 1997, she was diagnosed with an intra-abdominal desmoplastic small round cell tumor, an extremely rare and aggressive form of cancer. Despite undergoing multiple major surgeries to remove the rapidly growing masses, Michelle remained remarkably dedicated to her craft, continuing to film her scenes and maintain her professional commitments, even as her physical strength waned. Her courage and refusal to let her illness define her spirit were a testament to her profound inner strength. The end came with a heartbreaking suddenness that left her co-stars and fans in mourning. In late 1998, after traveling home to New Jersey to spend the holidays with her family, her condition deteriorated rapidly. On December 23, 1998, Michelle Thomas passed away at the age of 30, surrounded by her loved ones in a Manhattan hospital. Her death occurred just months after she had undergone her final surgery, a stark reminder of the cruelty of her disease. To this day, Michelle is remembered not for her tragic departure, but for the warmth and laughter she radiated. She remains a beloved icon of 90s television, a young woman whose light burned with immense brilliance before being extinguished far too soon. Minnie Riperton. Minnie Riperton was a vocal phenomenon whose angelic soprano and unparalleled mastery of the whistle register redefined the possibilities of the human voice. Born in Chicago, she honed her craft in the diverse musical landscape of the 1960s, moving from the soul pop of the Gems to the experimental psychedelic rock of Rotary Connection. However, it was her 1974 masterpiece, Perfect Angel, co-produced by Stevie Wonder, that solidified her as a global legend. Her signature, I'm Lovin' You, became a worldwide sensation, featuring her effortless ascent into the 5-octave range intertwined with the sounds of chirping birds. She didn't just sing notes, she inhabited a celestial frequency that felt both intimate and otherworldly, making her one of the most distinctive artists of the soul era. At the absolute height of her commercial success in 1976, Minnie was struck by a devastating medical diagnosis, breast cancer. At a time when the disease was often discussed in whispers, Minnie became a pioneer of transparency. She underwent a radical mastectomy and was told she had a limited life expectancy, yet she refused to let the diagnosis silence her artistry. Displaying extraordinary bravery, she became the first Black woman to serve as the national spokesperson for the American Cancer Society. President Jimmy Carter even presented her with the Society's Courage Award in 1978. Through her public struggles, she humanized the battle against cancer, providing hope and visibility to millions of women while continuing to record and perform with a vibrant, undiminished spirit. By 1979, the cancer had metastasized, and Minnie's physical health began to fail, though her voice remained a crystalline marble. In her final months, she recorded her last album, Minnie, a poignant testament to her enduring passion for music. On July 12, 1979, the lady with the high note passed away in the arms of her husband at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 31. She died while listening to a recording Stevie Wonder had made for her. Her legacy lives on not only in her timeless melodies, but through her daughter actress Maya Rudolph, and in the increased awareness she brought to women's health. Minnie Riperton remains a perfect angel, a singer whose brief time on earth left a resonance that continues to soar. Lisa "Left Eye" Lopes. Lisa "Left Eye" Lopes was the creative firebrand and visionary heartbeat of TLC, the best-selling American girl group of all time. As the group's primary rapper and songwriter, she infused their music with a gritty, imaginative edge, penning legendary verses for iconic anthems like Waterfalls and No Scrubs. Known for her signature style, originally wearing a condom over her left eye to promote safe sex, Lisa was a pioneer of bold authenticity. She was a woman of intense contradictions, a fierce performer who commanded global stages, yet a deeply spiritual seeker who often retreated from the pressures of fame to find inner peace. Her influence extended far beyond music. She was a fashion rebel and a voice for female empowerment who refused to be silenced by industry norms. Despite TLC's monumental success, including multiple Grammy Awards and Diamond-certified albums, Lisa's personal life was often a whirlwind of public scrutiny and private turmoil. Her highly publicized struggles, ranging from financial bankruptcy at the height of fame to a tumultuous relationship that led to a felony arson charge, painted a picture of a woman constantly battling for control over her narrative. In the early 2000s, seeking a profound spiritual reset, she began making frequent trips to La Ceiba, Honduras. There she established a retreat center focused on holistic healing and worked on a documentary intended to show the world her true self away from the left eye persona. Tragically, this journey towards self-discovery ended in a devastating accident that froze the music world in disbelief. On April 25, 2002, while driving a Mitsubishi Montero near Jutiapa, Honduras, Lisa swerved to avoid a collision with another vehicle. Her SUV rolled several times, throwing her from the driver's seat. While 7 other passengers in the car survived with minor injuries, Lisa suffered fatal head and neck trauma. She was only 30 years old. Hauntingly, the final weeks of her life were captured on film for her documentary The Last Days of Left Eye, showing a woman at peace with her destiny. Her passing marked the end of an era for R&B, leaving a void in TLC that would never be filled, but her legacy as a fearless, one-of-a-kind innovator remains a blueprint for every female rapper who dares to be different. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman was a towering figure in the world of R&B and jazz, a statuesque beauty with a deep velvet contralto voice that could convey more emotion in a single breath than most could in an entire lifetime. Standing 6 feet tall and possessing a regal elegance, she was a true songstress who refused to fit into the narrow boxes of pop commercialism. Her hits such as You Know How to Love Me and Old Friend became essential anthems of urban adult contemporary music. Beyond the recording studio, Hyman was a Tony-nominated theatrical force, earning critical acclaim for her role in the Broadway musical Sophisticated Ladies. She was the embodiment of glamour and artistic integrity, yet her sophisticated exterior masked a relentless internal struggle with bipolar disorder and profound loneliness. Throughout her career, Phyllis was known for her searing honesty, often speaking candidly about her frustrations with an industry that she felt failed to market her immense talent properly. This professional dissatisfaction was compounded by her private battles with weight substance dependence and the fluctuating highs and lows of her mental health. Despite her commanding stage presence, she frequently felt isolated, often quipping about her lonely at the top reality. As the 1990s progressed, the weight of these struggles began to dim her spirit. She was a woman who poured her heart into her lyrics, making her music a sanctuary for her fans, even as she found it increasingly difficult to find a sanctuary for herself. The tragic culmination of her journey occurred on June 30th, 1995, just 6 days before her 46th birthday. Hours before she was scheduled to take the stage at the legendary Apollo Theater in Harlem, Phyllis Hyman ended her life in her New York City apartment by overdosing on sleeping pills. She left behind a brief, heart-wrenching suicide note that echoed her exhaustion. "I'm tired. I'm tired. Those of you that I love know who you are. May God bless you." Her passing sent a shockwave through the music community, highlighting the devastating impact of untreated mental illness. Phyllis Hyman remains a legend of soul, a woman whose voice was a majestic gift to the world, leaving behind a legacy of music that continues to provide solace to the weary and the brokenhearted. Natina Reed. Natina Reed was a multifaceted firecracker of talent, widely recognized as the rhythmic heart and creative visionary behind the late 90s R&B trio block. A protege of the legendary Lisa Left Eye Lopes, Natina mirrored her mentor's rebellious spirit and lyrical prowess, delivering sharp, rapid-fire raps that defined hits like 808 and Bring It All to Me. She wasn't just a musician, she was a vibrant personality who translated her charisma to the big screen, most notably as Jenna Lopes in the 2000 cult classic Bring It On. Her style was a blend of futuristic edge and urban cool, making her a trendsetter for a generation of young girls who saw themselves in her fearless, cloverleaf attitude and undeniable stage presence. Beyond her professional achievements, Natina's personal life was deeply intertwined with the music industry's elite. She shared a high-profile relationship with rapper Corrupt, with whom she had a son, Trent Brown. While her career saw the inevitable highs and lows of the changing music industry, she remained a beloved figure, often praised by colleagues for her boundless energy and songwriting ability. Natina was a writer at heart, contributing to many of Block's tracks and maintaining a reputation for being a fiercely loyal friend and collaborator. In the years leading up to her passing, there were talks of a Block reunion and new solo projects as she sought to reclaim her place in the spotlight she had inhabited so naturally. The narrative of her life reached a sudden, jarring conclusion just 2 days before her 33rd birthday. On the night of October 26, 2012, while Natina was crossing a busy street in Lawrenceville, Georgia, she was struck by a vehicle. The driver of the car remained at the scene and contacted emergency services, but despite efforts to save her, she was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at Gwinnett Medical Center. The investigation determined that the driver was not at fault and no charges were filed, marking the incident as a tragic accident. Her death sent shockwaves through the R&B community, coming almost exactly a decade after the loss of her mentor, Left Eye. Natina Reed's legacy remains a vibrant flash of neon in the history of R&B, a reminder of a talent that burned bright and fast, leaving an unforgettable rhythm behind. Tammi Terrell. Tammi Terrell was the quintessential songstress of Motown's golden era, possessing a voice that combined crystalline sweetness with a sophisticated, soulful depth. Born Thomasina Montgomery, she was a child prodigy who signed her first record deal at 15, eventually catching the ear of Berry Gordy. Her career reached its stratospheric zenith when she was paired with Marvin Gaye. Together, they became the ultimate musical duo, delivering timeless masterpieces like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Your Precious Love, and You're All I Need to Get By. Tammi wasn't just a singer, she was the embodiment of youthful joy and romantic optimism, her chemistry with Gaye creating a sonic magic that defined the sound of young America. However, beneath the radiant harmonies lay a life marred by harrowing personal trauma and a devastating medical crisis. Tammi endured years of horrific physical abuse from previous partners in the industry, which left her with persistent headaches and emotional scars. The turning point of her tragedy occurred on October 14, 1967, during a performance with Marvin Gaye at Hampton-Sydney College. In the middle of their set, Tammi collapsed into Gaye's arms on stage. While initially thought to be exhaustion, doctors soon discovered a much more sinister reality, a malignant brain tumor. Over the next 2 years, the vibrant young star underwent 8 grueling brain surgeries, which eventually robbed her of her sight and the ability to walk. Despite her deteriorating health, Tammi's spirit remained unyielding. She even recorded her final tracks while confined to a wheelchair, a testament to her profound love for music. The world mourned when Tammi Terrell passed away on March 16, 1970, at the tragically young age of 24. Her death deeply devastated Marvin Gaye, who plummeted into a period of isolation and depression, vowing never to find another partner who could match Tammi's spirit. Her funeral in Philadelphia drew thousands of fans, a final tribute to a woman who gave the world the soundtrack to love while enduring unimaginable pain. Tammi remains an eternal figure of grace, a voice that continues to soar across mountains and valleys untouched by the tragedy that claimed her. Natalie Desselle-Reid. Natalie Desselle-Reid was a comedic dynamo whose radiant spirit and distinct Southern charm made her a standout presence in Black cinema and television during the late 90s and early 2000s. A native of Alexandria, Louisiana, she possessed a natural, grounded relatability that allowed her to embody characters who were both hilariously eccentric and deeply human. Her breakthrough came in the 1997 cult classic B.A.P.S., where she starred alongside Halle Berry. As Mickey, Natalie delivered a masterclass in comedic chemistry, portraying a woman with big hair, gold teeth, and an even bigger heart. She didn't just play a sidekick. She was the emotional anchor of the film, proving that she could hold her own against Hollywood's biggest stars while bringing authentic joy to the screen. Beyond the bright lights of cinema, Natalie became a beloved fixture in the television landscape. Her role as Janie Eggins on the sitcom Eve showcased her impeccable timing and ability to navigate the complexities of friendship and womanhood with grace and humor. She also made memorable appearances in projects like Def Jam's How to Be a Player and the iconic 1997 television movie Cinderella, where she played Minerva alongside Brandy and Whitney Houston. To her colleagues, Natalie was known as a gentle soul and a dedicated professional who treated everyone on the set with kindness. She represented a generation of Black actresses who championed body positivity and authentic representation long before those terms became industry buzzwords. The entertainment community was struck by a profound sense of loss when it was revealed that Natalie had been privately battling a terminal illness. On December 7, 2020, Natalie Desselle-Reid passed away at the age of 53 due to colon cancer. Her family shared that she had been diagnosed only a short time before her death, choosing to spend her final days surrounded by loved ones away from the public eye. Her passing prompted an outpouring of tributes from icons like Halle Berry, who described her as one of the most precious people she had ever known. Natalie's legacy is one of pure, unadulterated laughter. She remains a bright light in the history of comedy, a woman whose work continues to bring smiles to faces and remind us of the power of a joyful spirit. Stephanie Moseley. Stephanie Moseley was a mesmerizing blend of grace, athleticism, and raw talent, a woman who danced her way into the hearts of audiences and superstars alike. Born in Vancouver, Canada, she possessed a relentless drive that propelled her to the epicenter of the global entertainment industry in Los Angeles. Stephanie was a premier professional dancer, touring the world with icons such as Britney Spears, Janet Jackson, Chris Brown, and Beyoncé. Her ability to command the stage with fluid precision made her a favorite among choreographers and creative directors. However, her transition from the background to the foreground was solidified with her breakout role as Aurelie in the VH1 hit drama series Hit the Floor. In this role, she finally showcased her acting range, proving she was far more than a supporting talent. She was a star in her own right. Off camera, Stephanie was widely described as a radiant spirit, a woman whose external beauty was matched by a profound kindness and a contagious zest for life. She was deeply integrated into the Hollywood creative community, known for her professional discipline and her role as a mentor to aspiring dancers. Yet behind the scenes of her ascending career, Stephanie was trapped in an increasingly volatile and toxic domestic situation. Her marriage to rapper and Floyd Mayweather protege Earl Hayes was reportedly fractured by intense jealousy and recurring conflict. Despite her public success and the bright future that lay ahead of her, the private reality of her home life was reaching a dangerous breaking point that no one, not even those closest to her, could fully anticipate. The shocking conclusion to Stephanie's life occurred on the morning of December 8th, 2014, in a tragedy that stunned the entire industry. In their upscale Los Angeles apartment, Earl Hayes shot Stephanie to death before turning the weapon on himself in a horrific murder-suicide. Hauntingly, reports surfaced that the act took place while Hayes was on a FaceTime call with Mayweather, adding a layer of grisly notoriety to an already devastating event. Stephanie was only 30 years old. Her death ignited a nationwide conversation about the hidden epidemic of domestic violence, even among those who appear to have everything. Today, she is remembered for her electric presence on the dance floor, and her warm heart a reminder of a brilliant light extinguished by a darkness that should never have reached her. Florence Ballard. Florence Ballard was the original Supreme, the woman whose powerful, soulful voice provided the foundation for the most successful female group in music history. Known affectionately as Flo, she possessed a robust vocal range that initially made her the primary lead singer of the Primettes, the group that would eventually become the Supremes. It was Florence who invited Diana Ross to join the group, unknowingly setting the stage for a dramatic shift in their collective destiny. As Motown founder Berry Gordy sought a more pop-friendly and slender sound for mainstream white audiences, he moved Florence to the background, favoring Diana's softer tone. This strategic pivot didn't just change the group's sound. It began to erode the spirit of the woman who had started it all. The internal tension reached a breaking point in 1967. Struggling with the emotional pain of being sidelined and the relentless pressure of fame, Florence turned to alcohol for solace, which led to missed rehearsals and erratic behavior. In a move that remains one of the most controversial in music history, she was abruptly ousted from the group in Las Vegas and replaced. What followed was a heartbreaking downward spiral. Despite her immense talent, her solo career failed to gain traction due to legal battles with Motown and poor management. She was eventually cheated out of her royalty payments, leading her from the heights of global stardom to the depths of poverty. By the mid-70s, the woman who once performed for royalty was living on welfare in a humble Detroit apartment, struggling to provide for her 3 daughters. Just as Florence was beginning to find her footing again, securing a legal settlement and making small public appearances, tragedy struck with finality. On February 22, 1976, she was admitted to Mount Carmel Mercy Hospital in Detroit after complaining of numbness. She passed away early the next morning from a coronary thrombosis, a blood clot in her heart, at the tragically young age of 32. Her death was a somber end to a life that had reached the highest peaks of success, only to be met with systemic abandonment. Florence Ballard remains the forgotten Supreme, a cautionary tale of the industry's cruelty, but more importantly, she is remembered as the true soul of a musical revolution, a woman whose voice was as big as the dreams she once held. Nina Simone. Nina Simone, born Eunice Kathleen Wayman, was a musical polymath whose artistry defied categorization, blending classical precision, jazz improvisation, and the raw honesty of the blues. Originally aspiring to be the first Black classical concert pianist in America, she was famously denied admission to the Curtis Institute of Music due to racial prejudice, a rejection that fueled her lifelong commitment to social justice. Taking the stage name Nina Simone to hide her nightclub performances from her religious family, she became a formidable force in the industry. Her voice, a rich and somber contralto, was more than an instrument. It was a tool for liberation. Songs like Mississippi Goddamn and To Be Young, Gifted, and Black became the definitive anthems of the civil rights movement, marking her as the high priestess of soul. Despite her immense cultural impact, Nina's life was a tempest of brilliance and deep-seated pain. For years, she struggled with undiagnosed bipolar disorder, which often manifested in volatile mood swings and a reputation for being difficult within the industry. This psychological burden was exacerbated by an abusive marriage to her manager, Andrew Stroud, who exerted intense control over her professional and personal life. As the political climate in America grew increasingly hostile, Nina chose self-imposed exile, living in Barbados, Liberia, and eventually the south of France. Her later years were marked by financial instability and a feeling of being abandoned by the country she had fought so hard to transform. Yet even in isolation, she remained an uncompromising radical, her music a sanctuary for the disenfranchised. In her final decade, Nina finally received a measure of the peace and recognition she had long been denied. She settled in Carry-les-Rouet, a quiet town in the French Riviera where she continued to perform sporadically for devoted audiences. However, her physical health eventually began to decline as she entered a long private battle with breast cancer. On April 21, 2003, the legendary Nina Simone passed away in her sleep at her home in France at the age of 70. Her ashes were scattered across several African countries, fulfilling her wish to return to her ancestral roots. She left behind a legacy of unapologetic Black excellence and a body of work that remains a North Star for artists who believe that an artist's duty is to reflect the times. Joanne Borgella. Joanne Borgella was a radiant beacon of talent, confidence, and resilience. whose career journey inspired countless individuals to embrace their identity. A proud Haitian American born in Long Island, New York, Joanne first captivated the public's heart in 2005 when she became the winner of Monique's Fat Chance, a pioneering reality competition that celebrated plus-size beauty. Her victory was more than a personal achievement. It was a cultural milestone that challenged the narrow beauty standards of the fashion industry. Later, she reached a broader stage as a top 24 semi-finalist on the 7th season of American Idol in 2008. With her powerful, soulful voice and magnetic personality, Joanne proved that she was a dual-threat talent, excelling as both a high-fashion model and a formidable vocalist. Beyond her television successes, Joanne was a dedicated entrepreneur and a passionate advocate for self-love. She launched her own clothing line, Joanne Borgella New York, and worked extensively as a professional curve model for major brands. Her influence was felt deeply in the body positivity movement long before it became a mainstream trend. She used her platform to empower women of all sizes, teaching them that style and beauty are not confined to a single clothing size. Her colleagues often described her as a vibrant force, someone who infused every room she entered with warmth, professionalism, and a genuine desire to uplift others. Even as she navigated the competitive waters of Hollywood, she remained grounded in her faith and her commitment to her community. The trajectory of her brilliant life was tragically interrupted in 2013 when Joanne shared a brave video message on social media announcing that she had been diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer. She had a chordoma, a tumor that typically grows at the base of the skull or the spine. Despite the gravity of the diagnosis, she documented her journey with an incredible spirit of optimism, sharing her chemotherapy sessions and her unwavering faith with her followers. On October 18, 2014, at the age of 32, Joanne Borgella passed away, surrounded by her family. Her death was a profound loss to the entertainment and fashion worlds, but her legacy endures as a testament to the power of a joyful spirit. Joanne didn't just seek the spotlight. She used it to light the way for others to love themselves. Brenda Fassie. Brenda Fassie, affectionately known as Ma Burr and hailed as the Queen of African Pop, was a once-in-a-generation force of nature who defined the soundtrack of South Africa's liberation and post-apartheid era. Born in Langa, Cape Town, and named after American singer Brenda Lee, she possessed a voice that was both a weapon and a solace. Her 1983 hit Weekend Special propelled her to international stardom, but it was her later work, particularly the 1997 album Mameza, that solidified her status as a cultural deity. Brenda was the voice of the voiceless, a woman who lived her life with an uncompromising, raw honesty that often put her at odds with the conservative establishment. She was the Madonna of the townships, a revolutionary who used her music to challenge political oppression and social injustice. However, the brilliance of Brenda's career was perpetually intertwined with a turbulent personal life that was frequently fodder for the tabloids. She was a woman of intense passions and profound vulnerabilities, struggling openly with drug addiction and a series of volatile relationships. Her life was a high-stakes drama played out in the public eye. She would vanish for weeks into crack houses, only to emerge and record multi-platinum albums that moved the nation to tears. Despite her internal demons, Brenda remained deeply connected to the people of the townships who saw their own struggles, joys, and resilience reflected in her defiant spirit. She was a pioneer of Afro-pop, blending traditional African rhythms with modern electronic sounds, creating a genre that resonated across the continent. The final curtain fell on Brenda's life in a manner as dramatic as her rise. In April 2004, she collapsed at her home in Johannesburg following a severe asthma attack, which led to cardiorespiratory arrest. After spending 2 weeks in a coma, Brenda Fassie passed away on May 9, 2004, at the age of 39. Her death was a moment of national mourning in South Africa, with figures like Nelson Mandela and Thabo Mbeki visiting her bedside to pay their respects. While her life was marked by excess and tragedy, her legacy is one of indomitable courage. Brenda Fassie didn't just sing for the people, she was the people. Her music remains an eternal flame of African pride, proving that even the most fractured souls can leave behind a legacy of pure, unadulterated power. Angie Stone. Angie Stone is a foundational pillar of modern R&B, a woman whose career bridges the gap between the old-school soul of the 70s and the neo-soul revolution of the late 90s. Born in Columbia, South Carolina, she began her journey as Angie B in the pioneering female hip-hop trio The Sequence, proving early on that she could dominate the rhythm with both rap and melody. However, it was her transition into a solo soul artist that revealed her true depth. With her 1999 debut album, Black Diamond, Angie became the matriarch of neo-soul, delivering hits like No More Rain in This Cloud that resonated with a mature, earthy authenticity. She is a singer-songwriter who doesn't just perform music. She crafts narratives of Black womanhood resilience and complex love, serving as a vital architect for the careers of many, including her former partner D'Angelo. While her musical legacy is untouchable, Angie's personal journey has been marked by significant health battles and public challenges. For years, she has been a vocal advocate for diabetes awareness, having been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. She has used her platform to educate the community on the importance of lifestyle changes, often speaking candidly about the struggles of managing a chronic illness while maintaining the rigors of a global touring schedule. Her transparency that has made her a relatable figure for millions. Beyond health, Angie has also navigated the turbulent waters of the industry and personal life, with a characteristic, no-nonsense attitude, remaining a steadfast survivor through the evolving landscape of popular music. Today, Angie Stone remains a vibrant and active force in the arts. Unlike many of the tragic figures we have discussed, she continues to lend her voice to the world through new music acting roles in theater and film and appearances on reality television such as R&B Divas Atlanta. She has successfully transitioned into an elder stateswoman of soul, respected for her longevity and her refusal to compromise her artistic integrity for fleeting trends. Her story is one of endurance, a reminder that while the road may be long and fraught with obstacles, a voice rooted in truth can never be silenced. Angie Stone continues to shine, proving that soul music is not just a genre, but a lifelong commitment to the spirit. The stories of these legendary figures represent the dual nature of fame, the transcendent power of Black creativity, and the heavy burden of private struggle. From the 5-octave brilliance of Minnie Riperton to the untamable spirit of Brenda Fassie, each woman transformed her pain into a universal language that continues to inspire. Here at Black Excellence Legends, we honor their mastery while reflecting on the human cost of their contributions. However, a haunting question remains. Is it the industry's relentless demand for perfection that breaks these stars? Or do we, as consumers, inadvertently fuel the tragedies we mourn?